Hey,
Hey, hello, welcome everyone. Welcome
welcome
to
to
Rainbow
Rainbow
Soul
Soul
Astrology
Astrology Forecast.
Forecast.
Um,
Um, I
I
am
am
Hollis,
Hollis,
and
and
this
this
is
is
Bright
Bright
Hawk,
Hawk,
and
and
we're
we're
the
the
hosts
hosts
of
of
your
your
show.
show.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
you
you
already
already
know
know
that,
that.
maybe.
Maybe.
We're
We're
going
going
to
to
be
be
changing
changing
around
around
the
the
fort.
fort.
We're
We're
going
going
to
to
be
be
changing
changing
things
things
around
around
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit.
So
So
I
I
know
know
that
that
some
some
of
of
you
you
are
are
just
just
grabbing
grabbing
this
this
live
live
just
just
now,
now,
just
just
seeing
seeing
it.
it.
But
But
here
here
we
we
are.
are.
It's
It's
Monday
Monday
at
at
5
5
o'clock,
o'clock,
and
and we'll
don't
don't
worry,
worry,
we're
we're
still
still
going
going
to
to
be
be
live
live
every
every
Monday
Monday
at
at
5
5
o'clock.
o'clock.
But
But
what
what
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
start
start
doing
doing
is
is
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
start
start
releasing
releasing
the
the
forecast
forecast
ahead
ahead
of
of
time,
time,
like
like
the
the
main
main
part of
part
the
of the
forecast.
forecast.
So
So
if
if
you
you
look
look
in
in
the
the
comments
comments
of
of
wherever
wherever
you
you
are,
are, you
you will
will
see
see
that
that
I've
I've
already
already
posted
posted
that
that
this
this
will
will
be
be
our
our
live
live
question
question
and
and
answer
answer
and
and
horoscopes
horoscopes
for
for
the
the
week,
week,
and
and
that
that
the
the
link
link
to
to
the
the
main
main
forecast
forecast
is
is
on
on
YouTube,
YouTube,
and you
and you
can
can
see
see
the
the
link
link
there.
there.
You
You
can
can
just
just
follow
follow
that
that
link,
link,
and it
and it
will
will
take you
take you
to
to
the
the
main
main
forecast
forecast
for
for
this
this
week.
week.
It
It
is
is
themed
themed
about
about
the
the
Aries
Aries
full
full
moon.
moon.
This
This
way,
way,
when
when
we
we
do
do
the
the
forecast,
forecast,
we
we
can
can
really
really
focus
focus
in
in
on
on
the
the
forecast.
forecast.
Um,
Um,
so
so
hopefully,
hopefully,
although
although
we
we
didn't
didn't
do
do
it
it
great
great
this
this
week,
week,
hopefully
hopefully
next
next
week
week
we
we
will
will
do
do
it
it
better.
better.
We
We
will
will
do
do
the
the
video
video
ahead
ahead
of
of
time,
time,
and
and
it
it
will
will
hopefully
hopefully
be
be
released
released
on
on
Sunday,
Sunday,
the
the
day
day
before
before,
that
that
the
the
week
week
starts.
starts.
So
So
that
that
way
way
it
it
can
can
help
help
you
you
get
get
started
started
for
for
the
the
week
week
already.
already.
And
And
you
you
know
know
that
that
you
you
can
can
come
come
here
here
on
on
Monday,
Monday,
the
the
very
very
next
next
day,
day,
and
and
ask
ask
any
any
questions
questions
you
you
like,
like,
and
and
get
get
your
your
horoscope
horoscope
for
for
your
your
sign.
sign.
So
So
on
on
the
the
main
main
format
format
on
on
YouTube,
YouTube,
it's
it's
just
just
for
for
the
the
week.
week.
It's
It's
just
just
a
a
week
week
where
where
Bright
Bright
Hawk
Hawk
and
and
I
I
go
go
back
back
and
and
forth
forth
about
about
what
what
will
will
be
be
going
going
on,
on,
what
what
will
will
be
be
happening.
happening.
And
And
I
I
just
just
realized
realized
I'm
I'm
probably
probably
vibrating
vibrating
back
back
to
to
myself,
myself,
Bright
Bright
Hawk.
Hawk. And so it will just be what's happening, what's its um you know it will just be what the week's forecast is. And then you come here, ask any questions you like about the astrology forecast. You can also post a question on there and I will address it on the live. Like if you can't make it to this live and you're watching this later, then you can always go back, listen to the thing, and post a question and I will try to address it. If I don't address it right there in the comments, I'll address it on the live and I'll try to tag you if I know you, if I can. Some people can be tagged by non-friends, some people can't. So that's what this live is all about. It's about asking questions and doing the horoscope. And then I'll also be breaking down this video to make it into a horoscope, like little videos, and they'll be on reels. So you can always come and check out the reels. Like if you miss our live or something and you want to make sure that you get your horoscope for the week, it'll be easy to check in on what that is here on the live, or to check out the reels. So make sure you're following the YouTube channel. You can follow Bright Hawk's YouTube or Divine Androgen's YouTube. You can, of course, also get this um, on Facebook. Um, and so, it's really the reels should also be on Facebook. I'll probably also post them on TikTok. Um, Blue Sky, I'm not sure about that yet, and that would be that's the one that might get a little. I might have to do a little bit extra work on. Okay, so how is everyone? Regina, how you doing? Hi, it's good to see you. Welcome. So let us know you're here. Comment if you have any questions about this week. We're in an Aries full moon right now. In case you haven't noticed, you can check out the chart. Just go to the link, and you'll be able to see the chart and the whole forecast for the whole week. All about what will happen in each day. And I will say that today we're in an Aries full moon. Do you feel the get up and go? Did you get up and go? Maybe some people got up and go a little too hard. Maybe it was a little fiery. um, a lot of flames today. Some people are experiencing a lot of energy today. Um, some of us are more intense than others. So it might depend on your placements and what's going on. There's also Mercury moved into Scorpio, so I think that's also going to contribute to it, depending on if you have any placements there. So make sure you look at your chart. Where's Aries for you? Let us know in the comments. Let us know where you're at with that. And I don't know if we'll get a whole lot of questions today just because we're just doing this new format. So if you have any questions about your astrology chart, I encourage you to put those in the comments now. Um because then I can answer your questions, and then I'll get to the whatchamacallits, to the horoscopes. Okay. So, Bread Hawk, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Sorry.
It's okay.
How do I take it off?
You just click on it again.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I
It's
got
okay.
excited.
We'll probably use this one, and
Okay.
I see that
The
the
rest
rest
of
of
them
them
aren't
aren't done,
done.
so
I'll
I'll
get
get
them
them
to
to
you
you
in
in
just
just
a
a
second.
second.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a chance to look at the astrology forecast for the week. The big headlines, obviously, Mercury going into Scorpio, it affects all of us. Scorpio is known in the astrology as the keeper of secrets. They like to be very deep. They are often the ones that people feel comfortable confiding their secrets in. So when Mercury moves into Scorpio, I wonder if there might be some secrets that might get revealed. We also have a yod that is for the next 3 days, a finger of God that points to Mercury. The base is that Saturn and Neptune conjunction and Uranus sextile, and it's pointing to Mercury. So there's some intensity around communication in the first few days of the week. You might be feeling that. And then towards the end of the week, just big highlights here because I really hope you look at the charts and take a minute to watch that. Um, Towards the end of the week, we have a grand trine in air that will perfect next week. So, air, of course, is our thoughts and our thinking. With Pluto involved, there's always the possibility that your thinking could be transformed. Pluto is in the last stages of its retrograde. It's going to be going direct soon, not yet, but soon. So there's definitely, we're continuing 2025, the year of transformation and big energies. And so we hope that when you come to this, you will come with your chart. And so you have a real good idea about how this impacts you directly. Because let's face it, honey, it's all about you. Astrology, that's such a great thing about it is, and I remember the first time I got a reading, it was probably right before my first Saturn return in my mid-20s. And it was a revelation, realizing that certain freckles, certain spots that I had that I was literally trying to rub out were part of me. Like, stop, just make friends with that part of you. Don't try to change that. That's exactly who you are. So I feel like astrology helps us lean into our most authentic selves, our gifts and our talents. If you haven't had a reading, boy, give yourself a great gift. Get a reading with Hollis, especially if you're not sure, you have fog about like which way am I supposed to go? What does my Saturn return really mean? These are things we can unpack in a personal reading. We're super happy to answer any questions you have about your chart in a limited fashion during this Q&A and how the astrology impacts all of us this week. We always want to know, where are you checking in from? How's your week going? Has it been light? Has it been heavy? Has it been intense? Has it been silly? Has it been productive? Do you feel on track or feel like you're flailing? When we know what the astrological weather is, we know how to sort of pack for the party, right? Is it a day that we're going to go to the beach, or is it a rainstorm? We're going to approach those days very differently, aren't we? So when we look at the charts with you, and I'm hoping that the new format that we're doing the astrology forecast for the week will be in the wide format so you can see the charts better, hopefully. This is our way of doing both and. This is a day of, okay, so some people want it this way, some people want it this way. How can we do both? how can we help the most amount of people access Rainbow Soulstrology so they can have a great week? So we're hoping that you're subscribed and you like and you do those things because it really helps us keep going and knowing that you actually connected with us and we're connecting with you. You ready to go?
Just about.
Okay.
I'm just going to say,
I was just going to say that,
this week we'll use these to mark what sign we're on for the horoscopes. And next week will be we'll have a slightly different one. Okay. And I'm glad that you're here. Welcome, Alyssa. I hope you got the message that the main part of the forecast is in the other format. It's already up on YouTube. You can listen to it. You can ask questions on there. You can also ask questions here. Okay. So there is an Aries full moon today. So if you're feeling like, oh, gotta go. And remember that these horoscopes are always generalized without me being able to see your chart. Sometimes there's other things at play that I might not mention that might not affect everyone, but they'll definitely affect you. And I do tell you to do a couple of things in that longer format that we already released on YouTube. So it's pretty important. I'm gonna do the horoscopes about the Aries full moon, but I'm probably also gonna blink on over to the Virgo in the Venus in Virgo. Venus in Virgo. Because while that might be a problem that we have this week, it will later in the week, towards the weekend and next week, it will start to actually be a problem that we'll solve. So that's why I'm thinking it could be very important to some people to know that the sort of answer to that problem will end very soon. Because Venus is still in Virgo. So just in case you didn't know that. So, hi Xavier's best. Hello. Yes. So the main part of the horoscope, Alyssa, is recorded and it's already up on YouTube on the same channel. Okay. So you'll be able to see that. And then this live format will be for questions about astrology, about your chart, about this week's forecast, or, oh my gosh, Hollis, what the hell is going on? Sometimes I get that question. And then I'm like, oh, it's probably your astrology. And usually it is. I had that question today, and the person doesn't really have a lot of Aries placements, but what they do have is the North Node in Scorpio, and Mercury and Mars are in there, so they're really feeling that today. So yeah, they feel like they're going to chop everybody's head off. They were like, yeah, it's pretty accurate. So so yeah. So you're welcome to ask any questions you might have. I'm going to do the horoscope, and then that will pretty much sum up these lives. So we're just here to answer any questions you might have about your chart or anything else. And hopefully next week, Alyssa, we'll have released that video like a day or so ahead of time. So then you'll have a time to watch it, listen to it, and then come in on Monday and ask any questions. It will actually be released on Sunday. Okay. So although we didn't get that done this week, we will try to get it done next week. We're going to try to shift our schedule a little bit so that I'm not so jam-packed on Monday. Okay. Because right now my Mondays and the lives are lasting like 2 and 3 hours, and so it's just not, it's probably not good. I don't think it's even good like for us, like, yeah, anyway. So all right, so I'm just about set up with the horoscope. Is there any questions? I haven't seen any questions yet, so I'm assuming that we haven't gotten a lot of questions because because of exactly what I said. So just a moment here. Okay. All right. Alyssa said, right on. I love getting a prep for Monday. I really like being able to go back directly to specific parts of the video without having to dig. So I'll be more prepared. Okay, perfect, Alyssa. I hope this works out for you. As you'll see when you watch it, you'll be like, oh, this is a perfect time for them to launch changes because we're in an Aries new moon. So it's a perfect time to launch changes. It's actually perfectly astrologically aligned. So we're right on track. We're right on time, and hopefully this works for you. So I'm gonna let Bright Hawk, you can we can start with this one. I'm gonna do this,
Yes.
but I'm just gonna let you know the rest of them will have to be the ones that you made, where they're the whole thing. They'll cover up my face because I don't have them all done.
Okay.
So I just didn't get them all done. So I'm going to do this week's horoscope. This week's horoscope, I'm going to start. I'm starting with Aries. This week's horoscope will be for today, Monday, August 6th, as well as later in the week, Thursday, Friday, when I refer to Virgo, Venus in Virgo. This will do for the pretty much for most of the week. So this is a horoscope for Aries for the week of October 6th through the 12th. Aries, first of all, the week kicks off with a full moon in your sign. That's going to it's going to boost your energy. You're going to feel like you get up and go, or you're going to be really frustrated. One of the two. Especially if you can't get up and go for some reason, that will be super frustrating, but hopefully you can. And then that will really push you forward. You'll be ready to go, Aries. This is really going to make you ready to go. Okay. And as you get going forward, Aries, you this week will probably prove to maybe you'll be able to realize some things about some problems and come up to some understanding about like like what is this great reveal about for you, especially because Saturn and Neptune have been, traveling in your sign for a while now. There's been some things that you've had to discover, not only about yourself but others, and about life in general. Probably you've probably had to learn a few things about stuff, and you're discovering things. And let me just say, with later in the week, there could be some problem that keeps coming up about your day-to-day life, something that's causing issues or creating a problem somehow. That's Venus in Virgo. And so that Venus in Virgo energy just could be kind of self-sabotagey or something like that you're doing that's kind of messing up your day-to-day life. And so I just want to say, or your work in the world, whatever you do every day. Okay. It could also be your health. I want to let you know that there's going to be a trine on Sunday. And that's really going to that's really going to change a lot of energy. This week, Monday, Tuesday, whatever is fated, whatever you say, whatever comes out, especially in relationships, just let that out, because that's, even if what you said is a little bit hard, because that's very fated. And I kind of talk about that in the other video, that most of what we say, there's a yod pointing at Mercury, and with Mars in Scorpio, sometimes it could feel like spirit just kind of jumped in and made those words jump out of your mouth. So don't worry about it too much, Aries, especially in regards to relationships. With maybe you said something to somebody and you were like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that's true. But with Venus and Virgo, that will very much be the part that you'll start to problem solve over the weekend, like especially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. You're going to start to really find the solutions to the problems. You're going to be able to find a balance to that opposition with the sun and the moon, and whatever came up. If there was something frustrating, you'll be able to find the solutions later on in the week. You'll be able to communicate about it, and the communication will improve, and then things will generally improve for you, especially with that Venus and Virgo. Venus is going to move into Libra, therefore helping and support your relationships. Okay, so that is the week for Aries. Now, this next horoscope is for Taurus. Now, Taurus, this is going to have everything to do. This is going to, first of all, I'm just going to say this full moon. You're probably like, why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel so driven? Suddenly you took off towards something, huh? Maybe you've been thinking about it for a while, maybe not. And you just kind of took off. You probably surprised yourself a little bit. Maybe it was a little self-sabotagey. Not sure about that. Maybe you got a little too frustrated with whatever. It's a full moon in Aries right now. Maybe there was some things said in a relationship or towards someone that you care about, Taurus. I just want to say, let it go. Just know that things are revealing right now. There's a great reveal. I know it's kind of hidden from you and you're not really sure what it's about, but don't worry. It will reveal itself fully in time. And, with this Virgo in later on in the week, over the weekend particularly, there's going to be Venus in Virgo. And when it moves out of Virgo into Libra, you're going to be able to find a resolution. That's going to be Monday, Tuesday next week. But I'm kind of giving you a heads up because you might sort of come up with the answer on Saturday, Sunday, and then you'll kind of know what to do going into Monday and Tuesday. If you said something, particularly if you said something at work or to somebody that you work for or someone that you're in relationship with in that way. It doesn't have to be love relationships. It can be any relationship, just by the way. It can absolutely be like a coworker or someone else you work with this week. So I want to let you know that, with the T-square in Gemini, with that opposition between Chiron. Yeah. And when that happens, when, later on in the week, when we come into that sort of opposition, that T-square, which I talked about in the main video, when we come into that, that's probably going to happen around money somehow. You might find some sort of resolution or some sort of thing about money or communication. Or maybe it's just about connecting you to the right people or understanding the right thing, or intellectualizing some emotions that maybe you didn't quite understand because they kind of came out of nowhere, especially with this full moon. And I'm just going to say that by the time you get to Saturday, you're going to find a resolution for it. So don't worry about it too much, especially Saturday. You'll have a good idea of how to resolve it. And then as you work into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it will slowly unwind. And you'll be able to resolve that problem, whatever that self-sabotaging thing is. It could be very much about relationships or money. And it's in relation to your day-to-day life. So it could be someone you're in relationship with, like at work, or something to do with money. Okay. So you're going to find a solution to it, at least a temporary solution to it this weekend, especially this weekend, like the 12th, 13th, and 14th. All right. So now this next horoscope is for Gemini. Gemini, this is for you. Gemini, this has everything. This has everything to do. This full moon, first of all, today, Monday, Tuesday, this full moon is really going to play out with someone that you know, someone that influences you, possibly your boss or coworkers. You'll probably snap at them, maybe, or you'll be a little frustrated with them, experience some frustration and things like that. So just hang in there. Try not to say too much. With Mercury and Mars also in Scorpio, that could create quite a difficult day to not say things. Like things could just kind of come pouring out of you, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that, right? Okay. So if that happens, try not to give yourself too hard of a time. Know that the resolution will find. You'll probably have some sort of creative thing or something come up, because Virgo, Venus in Virgo is in your 5th house, and while that's a little bit sabotagey, try not to go out of your way too much until we get later in the week. Maybe just apologize for anything you might have said, especially Wednesday, Thursday. But once we get to the weekend, you're going to start to realize that things are going to change, And I'm pretty sure you'll have a pretty good solution going in next week. So if it's something comes up about creative things or romantic relationships or something else like that, just know there's a little bit of sabotage type of behavior going on in the fifth house. And then as Venus moves into Libra later on in the week, Sunday, Monday, that's when you'll start to find resolution to things, especially in relationships and things like that. So it's definitely going to have a lot to do with work and probably people that influence you. Could be friends. It will definitely be people that influence you, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was work though, because Mars and Mercury are in your house of day-to-day life or work. And so that's really what's going to happen for you this week, Gemini. And so I just want you to just hang in there, stay strong, and try not to, no matter what comes out, right? Know that it's trying to put you on your path, because at the base of that yod that I talk about in the main forecast, it's pointing to Mercury and Scorpio. So that's about communication, right? And it's pulling from Uranus, which is in your sign, Gemini. Um, and it's kind of retrograde. And it's also pulling from Neptune, which is in Aries, which is also retrograde. So this is about illusions. You could be under an illusion that this is your path. This maybe isn't something that you're supposed to do. Maybe this is something that you're not supposed to. Maybe you're supposed to say whatever you said. Because even though it might be uncomfortable right now, maybe it's gonna change your path or change your sort of trajectory. And you may not have said those things unless this yod happened, if that makes sense. And so it was probably some uncomfortable things. Probably Monday, Tuesday, you're going to say those things. And then, but I think by the over the weekend and stuff like that, you'll start to find some resolution. There still could be a little bit of a rough week, but I'm pretty sure you're going to come out strong on the other side, especially next week when we get into more trines and blessings. Okay. Now, this next forecast, this next horoscope is for Cancer. This is for Cancer, Sun, and Rising. Cancer, this is very, very much, first of all, this Aries full moon is going to be absolutely have to do with like your coworkers and your work. It's definitely going to influence work. Maybe you finally take action on that creative thing that you had, or you speak about that creative thing, you speak up about it. Maybe you finally express what you feel about that, and that expression. So I just want to say that like Mercury and Scorpio down in your house of creativity, that starts to we start to talk about like there's some sort of creative endeavor or something like that, or maybe it has something to do with a child. Okay, but this full moon is definitely going to happen at work. Could have something to do with children or your creative outlets or even your romantic relationships or all those things. So Cancer, because Cancer, we know that it's all about home for you, right? It's all about things at home for you. And so in that, I want to say that since it's all about home, be aware that this could absolutely push you into like um a creative solution in the coming week, especially in relation to your home, especially into money and things like that. By early next week, you're going to start to feel like you're on the right track. You probably feel like you've been pushed around a little bit and that it hasn't been the easiest of solutions and that you've had to try to find some solutions. But I want to say, Cancer, early next week, you're probably going to feel like you're on the right track and like you're getting things done and you're moving in the direction that feels good for you. And that's really what you're up to this week, Cancer. So hang in there, even if you do have a little bit of a sharp tongue with people that you're in a romantic relationship with or your children, or if you're feeling incredibly empowered about your creative endeavor. Just keep going, Cancer. You're going to be okay. Keep going forward and use this momentum to kick you on. Now, this next forecast, this next horoscope is for Leo. Leo, this is for Leo, sun and rising. Leo. The first of all, the full moon is in your house of spiritual awakening, legal things, or education. It could also be like grandparents and anything that you can think of that's sort of like higher thinking, higher education. So that's like college, or it could be like spirituality, studying spiritual things. And the thing about this, Leo, is that it's really gonna push you. It's gonna be momentum for you to make the changes you've been thinking about anyway, because you've already been thinking about these things with Saturn and Pisces moving through that ninth house for you, Leo. So this is going to just inspire you and push you to move forward, especially now you might have some really creative actions that you need to take around your home, some things that you engage in at home, um, and that could you could find yourself a little bit frustrated or something like that. But don't worry, just keep going forward because this momentum is going to pull you forward. Try not to get caught up in anything that might feel a little bit frustrating. I'm pretty sure you're not going to have a whole lot of frustration. Pretty sure it's going to feel pretty at ease for you. It's going to go pretty well for the most part. And for the most part, you're going to feel like you're getting together. You might have a little bit of something from the past that feels like it's sabotaging you, but I want to let you know that as we move on into next week, it's going to resolve, especially around community, siblings, or the people that you're surrounded by, including your neighbors. So that's going to change. Those relationships are going to shift, especially Sunday, Monday of next week. You're going to have some resolve about that. So just hang in there with this momentum this week. Let it pull you forward, especially towards that higher thinking, that higher education, the sort of spiritual awakening, those kinds of things. Let it pull you towards that. Let this Leo, let this Aries full moon just pull you forward, because this full moon is in a trine to whatever you have in Leo. And so that's going to push you forward and really inspire you. I'm sure you're feeling inspired, Leo. So go ahead and grab that energy to pull you up. Now, this next horoscope is for Virgo. Virgo. Man, this full moon is gonna feel like it is in your eighth house. It's gonna be speaking to your shadow and the things that you don't really want to talk about, things that make you uncomfortable, other people's money, and things like that. It could be a difficult week in that you might be bothered by some of those topics, especially find yourself a little bit furious about that, or incredibly driven to do something about your shadow, about those topics. You want to rectify them. Now, let me just say there could also be something with the people like your siblings or other people that maybe you have to say that you have to speak towards them, especially like Monday, Tuesday, you might say some things that are sort of destined for them to hear. Go ahead and let those things come out, even if they feel a little bit on the harsher side. It's important for you to say them, because the other person, like I always say, is people may not listen to what you say immediately, but let me just say, Virgo, you're planting a seed. Okay, so planting a seed is sometimes really important, and sometimes we need to say those things even when they're hard. And I know that you probably, with your ruling planet in Scorpio, moving into Scorpio this week, Monday, Tuesday, you're probably going to say something that might be a little bit harder to take. But once they think about it for a little while, they'll realize how important and valuable that really is. And later on, you do have Venus in Virgo, so it could be a little sabotagey, a little bit of sabotage behavior. But sometimes I think we are meant to be imperfect. I don't think anyone is supposed to be perfect, and I think sometimes imperfections is perfect to remind you about humility and your humble side, Virgo. And I know you have it, and I know you can tap into that. And as Venus moves through your sign and then starts to move into Libra, later on in the week, like over the weekend and next week, I'm pretty sure you're going to find a lot of resolution, including about money and finding ways to deal with that in relationship and finding different ways to approach it. You'll probably come up with some creative solutions, which will be helpful, especially next week when Pluto goes direct in your house of creativity. I'm really sure that's going to help you. Okay, Virgo. So just hang in there. Just know that you're being pulled on the right path. And while something might feel a little bit off in the moment, it's actually meant to be that way. It's meant to happen that way. So, just allow things to unfold as they are. And like I said, nobody's perfect, not even you. Now, this next horoscope will be for Libra for the week of October, October 6th through the 12th. And Libra, first of all, I'm just going to say this full moon is happening over in your house of relationships. So, is there something going on at work or with someone you know? And this, when I say relationships, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be romantic relationships, but it could also be other relationships, any relationships, maybe several relationships at once. Okay, Libra, it's okay. And you probably don't even know how you're sabotaging things because Libra, sometimes we don't say things and we don't say things and we don't say things and we don't say things for a very long time. And then as a result, next thing we know, we're kind of have sabotaged ourselves. So let me just say, you may not know it, but that might be happening and you just have to awaken to it. And I wouldn't be surprised if like Monday, Tuesday, boom, it just comes popping out of your mouth and you say what you need to say. Um, if that happens, just know that you're fated to have that experience. You're fated to have that experience. You're fated. Spirit is trying to speak through you. If you feel, especially if you didn't think about it and it just kind of pops out of your mouth, especially around money, Libra, that's kind of what's destined to happen right now. So don't give yourself too hard of a time. Monday, Tuesday, that'll probably be going on for you. And then as we move forward over the weekend, I'm pretty sure you're going to have some resolution to things, and things are, you're probably not going to see it coming. It's just going to kind of happen, and it probably be in relation to people you know. So it could be someone that has influence over you or something like that, helps you find resolution to things. And as you find resolution to things, it will really help you move forward in life. This is really going to propel you forward in the end. And while it might be a little bit troubling about what you do, or you might be like, oh, why did I say that? Or something like that. Or still be struggling with some self-sabotage type behaviors, maybe you're not even aware of it. And then you're just going to, boom, you're going to push through it early next week. Especially as everything comes into a grand trine with Venus in your sign, that's going to bring you money and good relations. It's going to help you figure out what you need to do to have and keep good relations. So hold on there throughout the week. Pay attention to what's going on. Listen into what Spirit wants you to do. Take your time and one step at a time, Libra. This next horoscope is for Scorpio. Scorpio, sun and rising. Scorpio, you're probably really feeling it, okay? Like, I'm just going to say, oh man, with Mars having moved into your sign last week and now Mercury there, whoa, Spirit's just coming through you, isn't it? You're just saying all kinds of things. And you're a little like, oh my, did I just say that? Oops. Okay, so Scorpio, don't give yourself too hard of a time about that. That's Spirit pushing through you. Spirit has things to say and wants you to say them. And sometimes we know how that can be, right, Scorpio? You say things and you're like, gosh, I shouldn't have said that. And then a couple days later, you realize why you should have said that. Okay. And you're glad you kind of did say that. Okay. And your life path, there's going to be some things that help you understand your life path and help you understand your own shadow. and help you understand yourself more deeply, especially in this time. And with the full moon in your house of day-to-day life, I wouldn't be surprised if something happens at work or something that you do every day. And so, or most days, it could have like a little bit of an explosion or have a lot of momentum. And going forward, I think that's good, with the ruler of Aries in your sign, and that also being you sharing a ruler with Aries, Mars. And so I really think that's going to give you a lot of drive and get up and go. So, Scorpio, just grab that energy, let it propel you into the week, because there could be a little bit of like self-sabotagey stuff going on with Venus in Virgo in your 11th house, which is like friends, or maybe there's people that you know or people you're influenced by, people that influence you directly that might have some energy that doesn't feel good for you, okay, or something like that. But just know that the resolution will happen over the weekend and into next week. So we're just unfolding this thing one at a time, one moment at a time. And here's your momentum. Here's your get up and go. Grab the cord and get going. And don't worry about what else comes of it later in the week, because the resolution will happen probably Friday, Saturday, especially when Pluto goes direct. I'm pretty sure you'll find some resolution, especially around the things in community and home and things like that. This next horoscope is for Sagittarius for the week of October 6th through October 12th. This full moon is happening in your creative house, Sagittarius. You probably feel like creativity is coming out your ears on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday. You are very creative. You'll come up with creative answers. You'll feel creative. You'll feel inspired. You might even be dealing with kids or dealing with your romantic partner. Either way, it will be feeling good. You'll be inspired. You'll be feeling like you got to get up and go. Assuming you don't have any other placements that could make it difficult, but for most Sagittariuses, that's probably how it'll feel. And let me just say that, you might find yourself saying something to the people that influence you, like your boss or something, or a friend. You might say something and you might kind of be like, ooh, that wasn't the most charming thing to say. But don't worry about it. Just let it go, because you'll find that there'll be a resolute around relationships in particular, particularly as we move into the weekend, as Venus moves out of Virgo and into Libra, where we can find peace and harmony in our relationships, where it's in its rulership, especially at work or something like that. Like if you said something to a coworker or something, don't worry about it, Sag. It was meant to be said. Even if it was hard to say, it was meant to be said. Okay. And sometimes that's our job, is to deliver messages to people. And sometimes that's how Spirit's going to do it, is they're going to set it. It's going to set up these types of situations in the astrology, and you're just going to blurt things out that you probably wouldn't have said had you thought about it. Okay. So Spirit doesn't want you to think about it. Spirit just wants you to say it, because sometimes hard truths need to be said. This next horoscope is for Capricorn. This is for Capricorn sun and rising. This is very much happening. This full moon is very much happening for you in your home. There's going to be something about home happening for you, okay, Capricorn? There's going to be a lot of fire energy, probably a little bit of agitation, maybe. Maybe there's some sort of thing that will come up for you. You'll probably say some things, maybe at work, or about work, or have something to say at work that you may not be super proud of. uh, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just let it go, and know that as we go forward through the week, as Venus moves out of your eighth house of relationship, it's going to move into Libra, which is going to bring more peace and harmony, which I know you want, but it's not always easy for you to find. Okay, Capricorn. So hang in there. I'm feeling like you might have a little bit of fuel on your fire, a little bit, Capricorn. You might feel a little bit frustrated at home. Something about home could be a little bit frustrating. Maybe it's money or something like that. And don't worry, you're about to find the answer. Just keep searching for it. Stay open, speak your truth, and at the same time, be open, especially as the weekend comes, Capricorn. You'll be open to some new ideas, some new ways of doing things, and some higher thinking. Someone's going to present something to you in a different way to think, and you're going to find resolution to this, and it's going to help you understand more deeply about how to change and how to shift this situation in a better way. This next horoscope is for Aquarius. This is Aquarius, Sun and Rising. Um, and this has very much to do with, first of all, let me just say, Pluto's going to go direct in your sign. So if you feel like you've been dragging your feet for the last few months, Aquarius, that will be relieved next Monday. Okay, you're going to feel like things are going to finally start moving forward, especially if you feel like you've been dragging your feet. And this full moon is happening down with siblings and neighbors and people directly around you, so there could be some understanding about what's going on there. And maybe you finally feel some drive to reach out to the right person, or to do the right thing. Aquarius, sometimes you isolate, and you probably are starting to move through that challenge. And now you'll probably also be able to sort of speak with a higher intention, and not feel like such a downer. Maybe you'll have more inspiring things to say, and you'll be able to say things that are definitely spirit led for you, Aquarius. And as this week goes on, you're going to find resolution to those shadow things you've been dealing with that may not have felt so good from the past. You're going to finally find some sort of harmonious energy with your relationships, especially if it has something to do with like other people's money or inheritance or anything like that. You'll start to find resolution this weekend and next week. Um, Especially next week is probably going to be even better for you. Like this week might be slightly frustrating, but you'll probably finally hear some things or say some things through yourself. You probably hear yourself say things, and you'll kind of be like, oh, why didn't I think of that before? And you'll probably just kind of say it or blurt it out, maybe to somebody else. Maybe you'll say it to your grandchild if you have them, or to a student if you have any of them. Or you'll hear someone else say it in an educational type of thing, or some sort of legal action will finally happen. And Aquarius, this is really going to push you forward. And I just want to let you know that a lot of the weight is going to fall off this week, especially as we get into next week. You're going to really feel a lot of weight start to fall off of you, and you're going to feel like you can finally take off. Okay, this horoscope is for Pisces. Pisces, I want to just say that first of all, this full moon is happening in your house of money. So it's going to be something about money. And oops, did you say something that really showed your shadow? Is this just a really bad day? Especially in the eighth house, it's going to have a lot to do with like your shadow, things you don't want to talk about, other people's money, fears, and even like it could even be about sex or death or other things that kind of make people uncomfortable in general. So especially with Mercury moving into that area of your chart, it just might brings forth some things that make you uncomfortable, just plain out uncomfortable. But let me just say, stay open to that, Pisces. Don't push it away, don't sit on it, don't throw it out. because you need to listen to that. Because if you listen to that, it will make the rest of this smoother, especially as Pluto moves direct in Aquarius and as the rest of the things start to move through, as Virgo moves into Libra and things like that. As you become aware of those things, as you tap into the spiritual part of this, then you'll be able to make more sense of it, especially next week as Venus moves into Libra, harmonizing not only relationships, but harmonizing your life, other people's money in general, because you're probably struggling with that right now, Pisces. And so just know that the resolution is on its way. It's just this little bit of frustration, this little bit of thing that's been going on. And with your identity changing right now with the North Node there, it's probably been a little bit challenging for you in the last year or so, because Saturn's been moving back and forth there, Neptune's moving back and forth, and the North Node is there. So the universe is trying to push you into a new version of yourself. So whatever comes up around your shadow, listen to it. Okay, whatever. If it's frustrating, if you feel like spirit's talking through somebody else, if there's something about other people's money, if there's something about sex or death, just listen to whatever comes up, especially Monday and Tuesday, because that's leading you, that's guiding you. Don't hide it, don't sweep it under the rug. Engage with it, even if you just engage with it privately, Pisces, because that can help shift you in the way that the universe has been pushing you for the last few, like year or so. Hey, Pisces, I know things are changing. It's okay. Grab hold, let go of the things in the past, and move forward towards that North Node. Follow it. It's got your future in it. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. And thank you, Bright Hawk, so much for changing the cover photos.
No problem. Sorry, I noticed I had a misspelling of Sagittarius. You'd think I'd know how to spell Sagittarius since I'm a Sag. It has two T's. Oops. So forgive us for our mistakes. We all make them.
Oh, it
Perfectly
definitely
imperfect.
happens. Yeah, and we're going to be changing the format of those anyway, so we'll catch it next time. As we go forward and we change things around, I think we're slowly growing into the changes that we've been talking about for the last month, and hopefully it works out for you guys. Give us a lot of feedback. Let us know what you think of this. Let's just look at the questions now, because there's probably questions in there now. Um, and let's see. So we have Mama Cole said, "Oh my God, yes, I'm being pushed to say stuff I don't want to." Yeah, because Mercury's in Scorpio, Cheryl. So all kinds of things are gonna come out of you. Okay. And Alyssa said, "I know that the horoscope of each zodiac are primarily for sun and rising, but if you have a major placement transit in one of those signs, even if it's not your sun rising, does it still?" Sometimes it depends. It won't be the transit, it'll be whatever planet you have there, Alyssa. So sometimes, like for me, I have a stellium in Libra, including my moon. I have Mercury there, I have Pluto there, um and I have some fixed stars there, and my moon is pretty intense in my chart for me. Okay. So because it has a fixed star on it. And so for me, yes, it does. I noticed that, like, especially for my moon, sometimes the Libra will match, but not all the time. Okay. And sometimes I'll be like, yeah, it doesn't really match this week. And I guess it just depends. And right now, with things in Libra, that makes it that makes it especially challenging. Okay. Does it still hold some weight? For example, if I have a stellium in Capricorn in my house of home, even though I'm not a Cap sun rising, can it still be influential? Yeah, it can be influential, especially if you have like other personal planets there. The personal planets are the ones that make the biggest influence. That would be like Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter. If you have those signs in there, those are the ones that are really going to be are going to influence you personally and directly. The other bigger planets will influence you, but they're usually slower. We don't notice them as much. Okay. Alyssa says Pisces is spot on. I have my North Node and Pisces Sun in my 8th house, and man, has it been a bad day. I just got through John's D-Day 2 days ago, and now today is what would have been the 18th wedding anniversary. Alyssa, hang in there. Yeah, it's hard. That's hard. So, I hope that you find your way through that. Like I said, anything that comes up around death for you, make sure you listen in, because that will help you unwind things. Well, fantastic. So I already did the astrology reading. That will be in the weekly horoscope that's already been posted. So you guys can check that out on YouTube. It's already posted. You'll see a new playlist and everything made. So if you're already subscribed to the playlist for Rainbow Soul, it'll still be posted in there as well.
And now it'll be easy to share.
Go ahead, Braidhawk.
And now it'll be easy to share with a friend. Oh, hey, you're a Virgo too. Check this out, or what have you. The reels will be easier to share that way and find just exactly what you're looking for. Well, we managed to do it in 1 hour. Congratulations, us. 2 hours just seemed like it was getting on too long, but we love talking to you. Thank you, Alyssa, so much for your interaction and your great questions and contributions. We really appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for listening. A great week, I should say. Monday week. The week starts this week. Have a good one. May it be blessed. May you feel like you are on track, on purpose, and thank you so much. Have a great week. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Have a great week.
Bye.